Hello there. Happy Monday, everyone. Thank you for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute craft kits for embroidery craft kits for the beginning crafter. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together, and I work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process along the way. And today we are starting a new project. So you're here right at the beginning. This is a project we've been talking about for over a year for sure, and we're finally getting it together now. So we are going to be starting the Granny Squares quilt. So this is a quilt by Lisa Alexander for patchwork, American Patchwork and Quilting. It's from a ways back. I think it's from 2012. It was in their magazine. I know a few of you said that you actually have the magazine that this is in. It is now available as a pattern on the American Patchwork and Quilting shop. I think it's APQ shop. I did put a link to the pattern if you want to do this with us, but I just think it is so adorable. It's reminiscent of granny square crochet. I think it'd be fun to do a crochet project when we're done here to do some granny squares. But so we are starting this today. I know a lot of you have your fabrics picked out already. I am going to do that today with you. I have not picked them out yet. I have some parameters for myself, so whenever I start a new project, I do like to give myself a few parameters. Things are a lot easier sometimes, a lot easier to make decisions when you set a few rules for yourself. So I've done that. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And I wanted to talk about how I'm going to pick colors and just some ideas on where you can get some color ideas today. So I'm hoping by the end of the day we will have all my fabrics at least pulled and maybe even start pressing and cutting. But tomorrow for sure we are going to do a cutting storm. We are going to just cut. I'm going to cut all of the pieces before we get started. I don't always do that. Sometimes I just start the pattern and cut as I need pieces. But this time I am going to stay to the instructions and cut all at once. So one thing just quick to know, if you guys are planning on doing this, in the instructions it does use the full width of the fabric. So typically when a fabric comes off of the bolt, it is, when you unfold it, it's 42 or so inches wide. This is cut from 42-inch strips. So we're going to be cutting the strips, and then we're going to be cutting them into the smaller pieces. So it does look patchworky, like you could use up little scraps, but that is not actually how this is constructed. You could kind of engineer it. I mean, it has all the lists of the cuts that you need, so you could actually use scraps to cut all those pieces. But the way that they're suggesting is to cut a whole bunch of a variety of strips, and then you'll cut them down to all the different sizes you'll need. And I might do that mostly. I may use a couple scraps here and there that are not the full length. And in that case, I'll take out the part that was from the full length, use it for something else, and put in a different thing. But just, I know some of you wanted to make this scrappy, so just keep that in mind. You may have to Frankenstein the pieces together a little bit to get that working for you. So, all right, I wanted to tell you my parameters. So we have talked a little bit about the color of the year. So that was one of my parameters. I wanted to do something like, let's look at trends. Let's look at color trends and try and do something along those lines, or get inspiration from the color trends out there. So I'm going to get on my iPad here so I can show you. Specifically, there's two color trends that I want to look at, and we'll talk about trends a little bit. But one is the Pantone Color of the Year and the Kona Color of the Year. So Pantone is a company that mixes basically ink for large industrial printers, but they have put out a color of the year for a long time now, and that is, you'll hear everyone at the beginning of the year, what's the Pantone color of the year? This year it is a classic blue. You know, this is just some company that's deciding this color that everyone likes, but soon you will see that classic blue in all the homeware stores and all, you know, there'll be pillows at Target that color. So it really does filter down into the things that you end up purchasing, these colors of the year. And they're getting it, Pantone is getting it from fashion. That's kind of where it starts, and then it filters there down. And with the fashion, they're getting it from art and just a continuation of kind of what's been out there. For a while, we've had a lot of kind of jewel colors. So this Pantone Color of the Year Classic Blue is kind of along that lines. It's a really rich, pretty blue. And then Kona, which is, if you're a quilter, you may be familiar with Kona. It's a brand of fabric solids, so Kona solids, that does just a lot of solid colored fabrics. They have started their own color of the year, and it's right along the lines with the trends. It is that jewelly color, but theirs is a jewel green, almost like a dark emerald green, and it's called Enchanted. They've called it Enchanted. So I'm starting with those two colors, and we'll look at some trends, and then I will pick colors from there. So I'm going to flip you around, and we'll take a look at my Pinterest page here. All right, you guys, I have my Pinterest up. This is my little iPad. So my Pinterest is full of color palettes now since I've been looking at them for a while. But this might be a great place for you to start looking at color trends. So let's start with, let's look up, I'm in the search. Oh, it's already coming up because I've typed it in already, but let's look at Pantone 2020. All right, there you go. You're immediately inundated with that blue. So here it is, Pantone Color of the Year 2020, Classic Blue. As you scroll, you'll start to see people have put together all sorts of things with that blue already. You'll start to see some things pop out at you, like one thing for me is that a lot of times they're pairing it with some sort of light accent color. So like here I just noticed, look at all this like brass. So they're popping it with, they have all, you know, white and blue, even some darker blues and some of that brass color to pop. So as you just start paging through, you'll really start to get a sense of how people are pairing it. Like, look at this. Here's the blue with some darkers, and then you got that pop of white, and then they've added that little red. That is really pretty. Like, look how that is almost even laid out like a quilt. That would be just gorgeous, don't you think? So as you find some stuff like this I really like. So you can actually make a new, oh, there you go, bigger. You can make a new page, and you can pin it. So I'm going to save it. I've already made a page. I think I've called it like color ideas. No, I probably can't find it. Oh, color palette ideas, classic blue. So I put it in there. I've made a collection. So that might be a good way to just start. Ooh, this again. So I like these blues with a lot of the light colors around. With, you know, again, a pop of color. So, all right, let's just quickly, just so I can show you, let's go to the Kona Color of the Year. Kona Color of the Year 2020. And there we go, Enchanted. So very, very similar in richness. So it's like a rich jewel tone, just like that blue was like that rich blue. So that's really the trends, are these rich jewel colors. I mean, that's awfully pretty. And with Kona, that's a quilting company, so you're getting immediately tons of quilting stuff here right away. You know, people are putting together, what can you do with that Pantone trend? So I'm going to just show you quickly my board that I put together. So let's see, boards. All right. So here are some, I'm going to start at the bottom. Here are some of the pictures that I started to put together with that color of the year that I really liked. You know, for example, like that's really beautiful. I love that teal. I like the black. I actually like all this brown. One thing you're going to want to do when you look at pictures like this, you can't see it as a room. Like, think of it as a flat pile of shapes, right? So don't look that there's a couch there. There's not a window. All you see is, you see a blue blob, you see a little teal, you see a little black, you see a little taupe or tan. You got some white down here. Break it up in just color. And also proportion of color. Like, you know, we got just a little square of blue, but with a lot of taupe around it, right? So things like that you're going to look for. I've pinned a lot of things that have an accent color, just because I think that's really kind of fun. So this is, I don't have my colors picked for the quilt yet. This is that Kona blue, or that Kona green, and that blue. I don't have my colors picked, but I'm just kind of getting ideas. Again, it has that pop of accent color within that blue. I like this. Actually, this picture I liked because it was all white, but then there's little specks of blue in. I kind of like those proportions versus like all really rich like this. I like that lightness. So I have a few ideas now, right? I want that lightness. I want that blue. I want that pop of color. Here's another good example. I got white. Oops. I got some tan, that blue. Okay. So then, once I did a little bit of that, I went to, oh wait, you guys, I gotta show you this. So you will start seeing, it starts with fashion, then it goes to homewares and stuff like this. You'll start seeing in magazines these colors, all the way to the point that you're gonna see it everywhere. And just to check, I got this Home Depot, this is like literally a Home Depot catalog, right? Just randomly sent to me. I was thinking, oh, I wonder if I can find the Pantone color of the year in here. And I was paging through, and look at this. Bam. Both colors. So that's like the Pantone color of the year, and that's the Kona color of the year. So it is already in the Home Depot catalog, right? So they're looking at fashion, they're paying attention to the colors, and they're promoting the colors that they know are going to be filtering into all of our worlds really soon. So I'm like, just as a test, let's see, does Home Depot have it? And sure enough, and I actually really like what they're doing here. They have these taupes. They have this lighter blue. It's very, very pretty. Even there they have that brass that we're seeing in a lot of these pictures. Even all the way down to Home Depot, they are already working that Pantone color of the year. So pay attention to it. Like next year, they will release a new color, and all of a sudden, that will be everywhere. This page I really like too. Again, it has a lot of white. You have that blue, and then these green pops, and even like these brassy pops again. It's just really pretty. So, all right, I kind of like that kind of realm. I do like these sharp pops of color though too. Like that's pretty nice, those yellows. And I do like all that white though too. So that's my vibe I think I want to go for. So first thing I want to do is kind of take a look at the pattern and then see what fabric I have. So the other parameter besides doing some color of the year type stuff is I want to use all penguin and fish scrap fabric. So I used to design fabric, and I have loads and loads of scrap fabric. You know, here's one, for example, that is almost that color. So I thought I would use all penguin and fish fabric. I have not done that in a while, and I got so much of it. I gotta start using it. So that is the plan. So those are my 2 parameters. Do some fashiony, trendy color scheme, like that color of the year, and penguin and fish fabric. So I have those 2 parameters. The next thing I want to do is look at the pattern. So for this pattern, the Granny Squares quilt, there is a lot. Let's go in here. You can see it a little bit better. So here's the full quilt. There is a lot of a background color. So they have picked like this really pretty brown. And then the rest is all a variety of strips. So I have to have a lot of this background color, right? And I thought it would be fun to do like a solid color. I know for sure I don't have enough of any of the penguin and fish fabric for that. So I do have some solid, here are all my bins of fabric. I do have some solid colors that I have yardage of. So I have a lot of black, probably not enough purple. This green, this is maybe a little too dark. It's not quite that enchanted green. It's not that far away from it though. It's maybe a little darker. But one thing I discovered when I went into my big bulk solids is I don't have any of that color of the year. So I can't actually make the background the color of the year. I did actually find a scrap. I did find actually a little solid that was really close. So if I had bulk of this blue, I would have had it. But I don't. So when I was looking through here, I have to choose one. I was actually thinking of going with this teal. And I know it's not the color of the year, and I'm not intending it to be, but look at how it looks with the color of the year. I mean, it's still that jewel tone thing. And once I kind of thought about this, then I'm going to go back to Pinterest just to show you. I've done a little today. I've been putzing with this a little bit. But I did just a quick search. These are my saved pins yet, but I did a search of color of the year, blue, and teal. So I just typed that into the search, and I started finding, some pictures that kind of combined. Ooh, like look at that. Combined some of those colors together, right? So now we have that teal with that color of the year still. So I'm still kind of sticking with it. You know, this even has that green a little bit. Like, look how pretty. Wouldn't that be pretty as a quilt? So this made me feel good. Oops, sorry, you guys. Especially, even look at this. Oops, I'm getting a little too far away here. This, again, it has all this light colors around it, too. Like this white. I really kind of like that. And then here, that pop of color again. So I also started searching with that green, just seeing some more color combinations. Actually, this I really like a lot. So, oh gosh, that's not, oh here, let's just blow it up a little bit. So that'll help us look at it not as a photo, like more of a flat color image. But here, look at that teal. Look how amazing that looks next to that blue. I mean, it looks just like this, right? So I love that. And then look at all the white, gray, taupey colors behind. I think that's kind of awesome. So I think, oh, I might be stuck here. I'm stuck. Well, that's fine. So I think this is what I'm going for right here. But I do like when they put that little pop of color in. So based on that, that is where I want to start picking colors. So I think this will be the back of my quilt. And then we need to start searching for more of these blues, I think. And like I said, I do like those whites, those light tans. I think that will help I think it will really pop off of it, especially since this pattern has a lot of lights and darks, kind of switching off. Sometimes they're melded together, but I do like some lightness with these jewel colors. Oh, the background. Sorry, Tracy. So this will be the background color. And what I mean by that is all this brown. So all in between all of these pieces, all of this brown. Here's this picture on the front again. So all of this brown will be the teal. And then I need to pick a variety of fabrics that have those other elements from like those Pinterest colors that I'm looking at. So I'm going to move all this so we can see. I'm going to lay this out bigger. And then we will take a look at colors. Okay. So I like to lay out my fabrics while I'm picking. I'm going to just leave this image up because I think that's kind of, first of all, it's my iPad's stuck there, but I like, that's kind of the image I want to go for. So let's just lay this out. We're going to use most of this color. This for sure I want to get in here because that's the blue, the Pantone blue. So here are my bins of penguin and fish fabric. So let's just peek in there. I got 2. So this is actual penguin and fish yardage from ages ago. This is almost that blue, so I'll pull this. I want to look for fabric that I have at a yard's worth. So this one goes the whole length, so that's good. Again, because the pattern wants you to have that 42-inch length. And then here's kind of my other. Ooh, this is tester fabric. So this is fabric that I was just testing pattern. So the real pattern for this ended up being half the size. So this is a bin of stuff that's not even real. So that would be fun to use as well. So anyway, we will kind of pick and choose from these two. So right away, one of the first things I'm going to do is grab some blues because I do like that color of the year. So that's got some, and I think the blues are just going to look good with that teal. Could get some lights. So I want to look for lights and darks as well. Light fabric and dark fabric. Just so we have that contrast. Here's some, these aren't the width of the fabric anymore. So I want to kind of stay away from these smaller pieces. This might be even too small. Oh no, this looks like it goes the width. So we'll pull this out. I'm going to pull things out and then we'll edit. We'll edit it down from there. So let's get some blues. Is this the length? Yeah, this might be enough for like one strip. That's a nice dark color. So I grabbed some blues. The other thing I wanted was a lot of those tans, right? Like the whites. Let's see. Well, even just these. So like, here's some old kind of baby fabric, but it's got white and it's got some of that green in. I mean, not quite the same green, but I think it'll kind of be cute. Let's pull some of that. Let's see. Those are maybe too small. Again, I want to look for the wide yardage. Ooh, what about some gray? Ooh, that's pretty. So here's some kitty fabric with little polka dots. Oh, that's good. That's got gray, that gray that I liked, that light color. Ooh, that's going to be great. Okay, I like that. What else? This might not be quite big enough. I can maybe get a strip out of that. We need 140 strips, Gretchen, but they are chopped down into a bunch of different sizes. So that's why you can use scraps if you just kind of skip cutting the big strips and start by cutting just the small pieces. I am going to try and get big pieces. It does not matter how many times you repeat. So what Gretchen is asking, like, how many times do we repeat strips with this color if we need 140 strips? It is totally up to you. The more variety you have, like the less number of repeats, the more, patchworky it's going to look. Like this looks like it's all scrappy. Not the more patchworky, the more scrappy your quilt will look. Because it'll look like you've picked from all different things. However, it could be just as beautiful to use only like, 4 or 5 fabrics. Like, a whole quilt, if I only had that, and the teal, I mean, that would be an amazing quilt. So I could do all of this color and all of this color to make my 140 strips. That would be totally legitimate as well. So it's up to you. Do you want to go more uniform, or do you want to go like more scrappy with a bit of everything? So that's kind of how I would base that decision. And now, man, just looking at these 2 colors, that would be so cool with that teal, just those 3 colors as a quilt. But we're gonna be more scrappy. First of all, I don't have that much fabric of any of those. All right, I'm gonna just rotate to this other bin for a moment. These are so heavy, these bins. All right, what do we got in here? Maybe I can find a little bit more blue. Here's a good blue. Is this the width of the fabric? Yeah, it is. Okay, so there's some blue. Let's peek. What do we got going on so far? So here's what I have pulled so far. The pattern person said 6 colors. Well, in here, so I'm just looking at the instructions here, and it says 140 strips of assorted light, medium, and dark prints. So there you go. It's an assortment. So it can be really whatever you want as long as it adds up to 140. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pick, because I am using scraps. Like, I'm not going to be able to, I might only get like 2 strips out of this because I don't have a big piece, So, all right, so we got some blues here. Look, it's looking a lot like our inspiration piece over here, isn't it, already? Just with these kind of darker blues, with the teal in the background. We got some of this light color stuff. I mean, we're really getting a look here already, I think. And honestly, having that image right there is really helpful. Okay, so one thing, well, let's just keep pulling for a little bit. I think I want to get more of these whites and grays in here as well. Let's see what else I can pull. Oh gosh, this is a sample strike off. This is not even real fabric in this bin over here. This might be tough to get wide enough pieces. Oh, this is cute. Look at this fabric. This never got printed, but it's on spoon flower. I've never used it for anything. Ooh, I'm going to use that. That's kind of a nice tan color. It also has some of that blue and some of that green. Maybe that's a little much, but maybe not. We'll see. Ooh, maybe some yellow. Yeah, I kind of like the less creamy. I think I like these whites a little bit better. Whites and grays. I think it's looking kind of pretty. Oh, this was a test too from Spoonflower. This might not even be wide enough. Oh, nope, this is just a fat quarter. Gosh, it's crazy looking through some of these old fabrics. Here we go. There's a big chunk of some dot. Oh, actually, this is a test fabric before I ended up with the real fabric, which is right here. Oh, that's funny. I suppose we can have both in, right? Here's some painty fabric. So, if you remember, some of the pictures that I showed had a pop of color, and we're kind of getting a little bit of that. Like, we have a pop of red, we got a little pop of yellow and orangey. All our pops of color are kind of that orangey and gold. I think it would be kind of cool if the center square on all of these was that pop of color. So I wanna find, I mean, don't you think that'd be kind of a fun idea? Let's look at the whole quilt again. Yeah, I mean, they don't really call out that center too much on this, but like, what if that center was like a pop, right? Like we have all these kind of blues and tans or grays, and then we have like a pop of like either that kind of red color or that tan. I know I have a lot of that color. So we should pick like one color for that center. Kind of actually like my jean quilt that I just finished that has like that pop in the middle. I mean, we could do a pop of like orange like this. Yeah, I don't know if I like the orange. This is kind of maybe closer to that. Do we like the pop of pink? Let's put this on standby. Here's kind of pink and orange. Yeah. I might be thinking more of that tan color though. Let's go back to this bin. Ugh. Oh, good, Joe. I'm glad this is helping a little bit. This is totally my process for picking colors. I do, especially when I'm going off of trend, which I am this time. It's actually kind of really fun to see how it compares with that. So here again is that trend, but I wanted that pop of color like we saw in some of the other pictures. I think my iPad is like totally stuck here, so. Yeah, I'm totally stuck, so I'm not getting out of there, but that's fine. I know there were other pops of color. Ooh. Let me get a little higher for you guys. So I'm going to just kind of lay this out quick, kind of like how, because I think it'll help me in proportion. So one thing that helps me with color is not only looking at the colors, but looking at the proportions of it. So I'm going to just kind of lay these out one after the other as if it's one of these granny squares that we're seeing on a big swath of teal. Let's kind of see what that starts to look like, and then I can kind of pick from there. I want to get you guys a little higher up so you can see all this. I think it's being blocked a little bit. We'll just do another column here. This will help us maybe kind of reduce colors and stuff too. But all right, so right now this is kind of what, let's pretend this is a whole other block. So we have two pretend granny squares with a big bit of teal in the middle, right? So this is kind of giving me proportionately a sense of what this might start looking like. So it'll be a patchworky of grays and blues with this teal. And I do want like that pop of color, like right in the center of the bits. I think I like this. And you know what, guys? I'm kind of missing green. More dark colors to add. Yeah, let's add some more dark colors. What would happen if we threw some green in here to kind of go with that Kona color of the year? Like it's not feeling enough to me. It's feeling like it's missing an element. Like what other greens do I have? I have some solid greens too. Hold on, let's see what we got in there. Like we could add that kind of, this is close to that Kona. We could add that as a dark. Let's just put a minimal amount of greens in this mix and see what that's looking like. Like what if we add a really kind of bright, like this is that same kind of jewel bit as this. What if that makes an appearance somewhere, you know? It could just be one strip. Like, we don't want a lot of it, I don't think. I think we want it to feel teal and color of the year blue, but some of these extra pops are kind of cool, I think. Let's see. Let's check our lights and darks. Do we have enough of all that? You know, there's even some purples showing up in there. We could add some purple. Yeah, I kind of like the greens. Let's, you know, we could add some just gray. Wah. I'm getting all confused now. Let's throw in some more light. Oh, that has that teal, so that's good. Well, I definitely think we can get 140 strips out of here. I mean, this is a lot of fabric right here. Tons of fabric. Oh, here's some more teal. Oh, those are just little small bits. I'm looking for large bits. Oh, here's some more green. I don't think that's big enough. These are all weird random scraps. Alright, we might actually be able to get like one strip out of this one. So that's kind of fun, some of this extra green. Do you like the greens? Okay, you like the greens. Can't be objective about purple. Oh, because it's not a color that you use. Well, the one thing I don't want to do is make it feel like it's starting to get away from me a little bit. I don't know, this is kind of feeling good. I do feel like I need more lights, but what I could do is just cut a lot of one, because I do have a lot of these. So when I'm cutting, maybe I will make sure to cut a lot of these light colors. So, so the light colors will double up and stuff, but the dark colors won't as much, just because I happen to have more of them here. These are all small pieces. I don't know. These aren't gonna... That's too colorful. Some more tan. No, I didn't really like the tan. We have one tan bit in there. We'll leave the one bit of tan and leave the rest gray. I do really like this gray. I don't think I have anything quite as light as that. So I will use up this gray as many strips as I can, because I do really like that. And then I'll use a lot of this white that has the green in as well. So proportionately, we'll have more of that within the quilt. So I think that's good. I don't know, I'm kind of liking this. And this will be the center, or should we try something totally different? Like I was looking at this bright kind of pink. So what I'm thinking about now, again, if you're just popping in, is the center square. I thought it would be cool to have like a pop of color, because a lot of my trend that I'm looking at, the trend colors, have that pop. I don't know. I suppose we don't really have to decide quite yet. You guys, I am not using fat quarters. All of these are going to be cut from the full length of the fabric. So if you're just popping in, we are just starting the American Patchwork and Quilting Granny Squares quilt by Lisa Alexander. And they mimic little crocheted granny squares. That's why it's called a granny square quilt. I think it is just so pretty. And just some of you guys are asking if it's more scrappy. It looks very scrappy. However, it really isn't. It is made up of a whole lot of the background fabric. That's where I'm using the teal. And then 140 assorted strips that are 42 inches wide. So that's the full width of the fabric. So 42 inches is going from one selvage to the other selvage. So it's this long. So it is not fat quarters. It is all strips, and then those strips are cut into all different lengths. So you're automatically going to have different pieces of a fabric scattered through the quilt because it's made out of one strip that's cut. You could Frankenstein it together, meaning you could skip the part of doing 140 strips and just go right to cutting them down to size. So, you need 36 strips that are 1.5 by 7 inches. They're all 1.5, but they're all different lengths. So you could get scrappy in that sense. You could start from the bottom and go up really. But I'm going to do it how the instructions say. I'm going to start with 140 full-length strips, and then I'm going to cut from there. So I am only looking for fabric that I have the full length of. However, like I said, you could do shorter strips and then work from there. But I did think about that. If you are going to do the shorter strips and work for more of your stash of not full-length fabric, you're still going to, for these outer squares, the 2 outer squares, you're still going to need a longer strip. So keep that in mind. Those are both over 21 inches, which is the typical fat quarter. After that, all these smaller ones, you can use scraps. So keep that in mind. These outer 2, it looks like you'll still have to use with the fabric, but after that, you can be scrappy. Again, when you get the instructions, you're just going to have to skip down to the cut fabric section when you see how the length that you cut all those bitty strips into. So that's how you can start kind of analyzing the pattern, I think. But I'm going to be using the full strips and cutting down all those strips like they say in the instructions. But again, you can get scrappier, but those 2 outer rings are still kind of longer strips. So a lot of you are saying that you like the like pink for the little square. So proportionately, it would only be like this big, but like scattered throughout. So I think that's kind of pretty. I still kind of like this yellow though a lot too. This yellow pops up and so. All right. So I see you guys popping back in. My phone overheated, so I do not know how long I'll be able to be on here too. I think I'm using all of the electricity for this little tiny room. But what I wanted to say is I think we got something good going on here. So I think this is our quilt right here. I think we got something here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all these fabrics aside, and this is what we will start cutting from tomorrow. And I think for fun, I'm going to start cutting these big, all these fabrics first, the multiple fabrics, assorted fabrics, and then we'll cut the teal after. So tomorrow we'll really get a sense of proportion of color, because I'm going to cut more of this white and gray than I think of every other color that I have here. So it'll be a lot of white and gray, and then a mixture of all these others, just because I don't feel like my proportion of whites are enough, especially compared to that photo that we're going for. I mean, there's a lot of light colors in here, and I really do like that a lot. Maybe I'll even put it in the border, a lot of the white. But anyway, I think we did a pretty dang close job to this picture. So I'm pretty happy about that for sure. So awesome, you guys. I'm going to flip you around and we'll call it a night. I know we had a little glitch in here. All right, though. Thanks for bearing with me. I know we got lost there for a sec. Hopefully I stay a little bit here. My phone's overheating. But so again, we are working on the Granny Squares quilt. And I think we got our color palette. I think that was a great way of doing it. Looking through Pinterest, kind of picking colors. Again, my goal was to pick around the Pantone Color of the Year, even though I don't have enough for the back. But it's that really kind of rich blue. Again, here's the Home Depot with the color of the year right there. The Home Depot catalog with the color of the year, Pantone color of the year, and Kona color of the year right there with all these pretty tans and stuff with it. So I think we did a pretty good job at getting close to there, digging through trend a little bit. So if you're wondering about colors, having trouble with colors, need a little help picking colors, be sure to watch this video again. I am going to post it to YouTube. And tomorrow we're going to get right at it. We are going to start cutting this fabric, and we'll start really starting to see how this is going to become a quilt. I'm really excited that it's been a year since I've wanted to work on this quilt. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you guys can pick out your fabrics for tomorrow as well. And I will see you tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central. Thanks again for joining me, everyone. Have a great evening. Good night.